Now let's talk about the pros and cons of on outsourcing to a freelancer.
Yeah, so the freelance, and when we use freelance, there's many ways to structure employment agreements, right? They might start fractional. They can move towards full-time. The way that you pay, do you pay weekly? Do you pay monthly? Do you pay per performance? Do you draw against commission? So those are details. When we mean freelance, this is an independent contractor who will either have fractional or full-time employment with you. And some of the benefits, of course, is complete flexibility and I'm going to speak from a CEO's perspective. I am not burdened with unemployment insurances, medical dental benefits. I'm not burdened with severance pays. We might have a project. That project will take 30 days, 90 days. It might be infinitely long. But our partnership is like a month-to-month. I provide you a fee or a salary, and you, the contractor, provide me value, work in exchange. And as long as we're adhering to that contract, then we're great. But if there's something that goes wrong, I can decouple from that contract quite easily. It allows me to also create specialists in certain roles and responsibilities. So as an example, one of the challenges, let's use marketing agency as an example. You start using an agency to help you with, I'm putting air quotes here, in marketing. But what ends up happening is they are specialists in certain areas of marketing and maybe not in others. It's what's known as full stack marketing. They may be great at organic content marketing, but not at paid marketing. What happens is the agency might be quite great at telling you yes to everything. So you keep putting more and more funds into the basket. They're getting better and better at content marketing, but they're not strong on the paid side. Well, now you've got a problem because the agency doesn't want you to hire a whole bunch of independents that are outside of them, but that's not their core competency. One of the benefits of individual freelancers is you can hire specialists that are the best at a certain function in marketing, or they are the best at DevOps or engineering of a certain code, or they are a finance expert in QuickBooks. And so you can have areas of concentration and depth that you might not have had by partnering with a generalist agency. Some of the challenges is you go through all the devils in the detail. You are now responsible for payroll. You are now responsible for HR issues. You are now responsible for team dynamics and culture. But that's, I think it's what are you trying to build? And that's where there is a balance. In my business at Pipeline Signal specifically, I have an agency on the marketing side. That's your company. I have an agency on the engineering side. We have a partner in India where they control all of the software development. But then every other function is independent contractors. Why? Because we can independently put in specialists in certain roles.
So I want to add one or two things. If somebody comes to me and say, hey, so tell me, which one should I pick? Should I work with an agency or should I work with a freelancer? To be honest with you, it's not that easy of an answer. You kind of have to decide what kind of benefits you want and what are you okay with, right? For example, when you're dealing with multiple freelancers, you're then suddenly dealing with multiple people's problem. So you have to take that, into account. You are dealing with, maybe we're dealing with 5 different freelancers. You are dealing with 5 different emotions, 5 different time zones probably. I don't know, maybe even if it's 2 time zones. You're dealing with 2 different time zones. You're dealing with 5 people's payments. One might come and say, I don't take payments from this way. I take payments from that, with this way and that way. And our banks are not working and this is not working and that is not working, right? But you just have to be okay with it. So are you okay with it? That's my question. Sometimes often people come and say, hey, these agencies, they're charging a lot more, maybe 30% more than if I just hire individual freelancers, right? You have to understand you're not dealing with all these, all these things. The other thing that I always think about and I've always mentioned is that, are you expert in whatever you're trying to outsource? For example, would you call yourself an expert marketer? If you are, you can definitely work with 5 or even 10 different freelancers because you kind of know how to manage them. You kind of know what to ask. You kind of know what to expect, right? So when you're dealing with a few different freelancers, you have to become the manager and you have to be okay with it. On the other hand, if you work with an agency, you don't need to be the manager anymore. There will be a manager in the agency who will be taking care of all of these things for you, right? So it totally depends on what are you trying to accomplish, what kind of budget you have. If you have a lower budget, definitely go with freelancers. I would highly recommend maybe going with freelancers. That's okay. You're trying to save money here. But if you're trying to, not think about every single thing every single day and trying to like talk with every single freelancers, then probably you can go with agencies.